All right. Uh-oh. Start this over, seeing as how it's messed up. There we go. There we go. All right. This is a messed up show. Anyway, it's like this audio technical difficulties for some reason. But like I don't know if you heard me earlier. I was live for 10 minutes and talking, and YouTube didn't even have my video up. I was streaming and everything through OBS. Everything's working. Then it disappeared, and I'm like, looked over. I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm nowhere to be found. I'm like, man, let's start this over. This is gonna start it all over again. Rewind. All right. So you can hear me. Uh, my audio was moving before, but I don't know. We're good now. So what I was talking about is the video I put out. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. You can watch the video, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it here. About the tariffs, the tariff math for Trump. It's not mathing. And I'm going to tell you the actual truth post he put out. And this is quote. This is his actual post, and I'm going to quote it for you. When tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated. The focus will be on people making less than $200,000 a year. Now, on average, Americans make around $66,000 a year, a little bit over. And based on these tariffs that Donald Trump is putting on, there's 10% tariffs on goods from most countries, 25% tariffs on selected items, 145% tariffs on goods from China. Now, I don't know about you, but my phone case to the cup I drink out of is made from China. So, if it's made in China, that means 145% more than I'm going to have to pay for. Now, here's the thing. Most people don't realize is this. It may cost 145% more with the tariff. That doesn't mean that the company is going to just charge you just that amount. They can charge you more than that 145. They can raise the cost of it and say, oh, production costs more, gas costs more, and therefore that 145 plus the price gouge they may want to put on us. That's just the truth, because you got to go back and look at when we were during the pandemic. During the pandemic, there were many companies that didn't feel the pandemic like other companies did, right? There were certain things, necessities that we had to continue to keep going with, and those things wouldn't have changed in price. There were other things that did. They got hit pretty hard. And in that process, many of these people either got PPP loans, and other things that kind of subsidized it. And on top of that, we got charged more for everything. These other companies that didn't get affected saw those businesses raking in profits raise their prices too, even though they weren't hit like these other companies. So when Donald Trump talks about he's going to throw tariffs on certain things. And again, the 10%, the 25%, the 145% tariffs. That doesn't mean the companies that don't get affected by this. Like for instance, there could be a company that literally gets its products normally, let's say from China, but chooses that, hey, Mexico makes it too. So they can go to Mexico, get that 10% tariff, and then say to you, 145% tariff, this is how much it's going to cost. And keep that price. Even if Donald Trump got rid of the tariff, they'll keep that price for as long as possible. Because again, who's going to regulate it? Donald Trump? Donald Trump is selling meme coins, worthless, to his people. The people who love him, he's ripping off. And that's about less than 30% of the population in the United States that really love him. And then the ones who buy from them, maybe 10% religiously. But he's ripping them off, and they're the ones who love him. Again, what's he going to do to us? The rest of us who don't care about this man. You think he's going to fight so that you don't get ripped off? When Donald Trump said it's going to bring in millions and millions of dollars and billions and trillions of dollars to America, didn't you quite understand that that's going to be your dollars that he's talking about making money off of? You're literally going to be paying hundreds of dollars for certain things, thousands of dollars more for other things, tens of dollars for other things. Your pockets will get thinner, and the government will, oh yeah, we're raking in millions and billions. Not from the other countries, you're not. It's insane that people don't get this. I mean, drop all the party affiliation, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Let's just deal with common sense and facts. If I'm getting taxed more for a product and you tell me, you know what, I'll let you keep your taxes. I mean, not all of them, just your federal taxes. Yeah, I'll give you federal taxes back. And you end up spending more. How is that saving anything for you? It's not. It is not. And that is the part where I try to get through to people who, and you're not going to get through to them, but you gotta like, some of this stuff just drives me nuts, that people don't sit down and think for themselves. I mean, forget this black guy telling it to you. Just sit down at your kitchen table and do the math. Quit listening to whatever makes you feel good. Just realize, when you sit down at that kitchen table and realize that pork and that beef and that bacon and the beans and all this other shit's gonna cost dramatically more, I would ask anybody who can hear me to go to your kitchen, any of the packaged goods, and read where the hell they came from. And if not that, go look and see or find out where your food is coming from. I want to show y'all something real quick. Thank you, Five on Fire, for the memberships. I want to show you guys something real quick. This is personally, my girlfriend's birthday was just, is it yesterday? No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. And we went out, had some fun. On the way back, stopped at the grocery store just to grab a few things, not to go full grocery shopping, right? Get ice cream and things of that nature. Have some fun, right? We walked by a section in the store, and I kid you not, I looked at this and I was like, holy, I thought it was just, a time that at the store we came in when they were just shifting everything. This is what I saw. Ralph's, which is Kroger's in some other states, full on. I mean, the meat section's a good, I would say 40 feet or more. 40 feet from beginning to end. Not one slab of meat on it. Chicken, beef, turkey, nada. So I'm sitting there like, maybe they had a callback or something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something's up. So I saw a guy who works there. I see him often. And I was like, hey, what's that all about? Right? And I was kind of joking. I was like, man, is this like the tariffs? Is this like Trump shit? What's up? I'm cracking jokes, right? And he looked at me, kind of laughed. And then he said, yeah, he's laughing. And he goes, yeah, Australia won't sell us any beef or sell us any meat. And I was like, say what? And I thought he was joking, right? So I was like, we got enough. We're a good meat producer ourselves. What do you mean? I'm okay, whatever. I get home. I start researching. Sure enough, Australia has taken, like for China, the beef and everything like that, and the meat, but mostly beef, they've increased their production over 40%. used to be $1.6 billion worth of meat that we would send to China. Over 40% of that is now being sent via Australia. So Australia is now producing meat for China. And I'm like, so are they not selling? And when he said that, I didn't even think Australia was selling us beef. I had no freaking clue. But that's what I found out. And I'm like, oh, well, that's crazy. He was serious. I thought he was kidding because we were cracking jokes. So it turns out that China has decided to go to Australia to get its meat because we're too high. And as of March 2025, just last month, Brazil has taken 76% of the imports of soybeans to China. We have a huge soybean country here. And a lot of the farmers, my ex, her father was a soybean farmer. And a lot of people in that part of Indiana were soybean farmers. And I don't know about Nebraska, one that's about to go bankrupt. I don't know if that's a possibility. That's the reason why, some of the reason why, is that they're not buying from America soybeans. They're going everywhere else. That is going to kill farmers. I mean, not a little bit, a lot. And I didn't know that until Ralph's had me dig a little deeper because I had no clue. But yeah, that right there is what's happening at the grocery store I went to. I felt like it was her birthday, so I wasn't about to go to multiple stores on her birthday because you know me, I'll go deeper into it. I'll go to like 8 Ralphs and see if they have chicken or beef, whatever. But he told me that, and after I researched it, it makes sense. Now I don't know if they just don't get enough and they sold out by the end of the day. I didn't go into depth with him, but that's not a good sign. I'm gonna tell you right now. I went to this Ralph's even during the pandemic. It was never empty like that. Never. During the pandemic, never. The only thing that was empty like that was eggs. But meat, there was always meat there. Meat on clearance, all that shit, all that. None. Nada. And so I don't know what that's all about. But, you know, it appears that Donald Trump's tariffs are starting to mess with people. I'm guessing because wherever they get it from normally, they're tariffed a lot. And the stores don't want to pay for it. And again, that's what Walmart told Donald Trump, Walmart, Target, and all the rest. They told him that that's what's going to be the reality. I just didn't know it was going to be this fast. So those are the things that these tariffs are going to harm. When you look at the video I told you, the average person making $66,000 will not save any money via going through tariffs and zero federal taxes. They'll actually be down $697. And that's not going to be, per year. That's not going to be good because, again, that's just counting in just a day to day without kids. That would be like my day to day. Without kids, without, a spouse. This is like one person making $66,000 going through their day, paying just regular bills, food, eating at home mostly, eating out, entertainment every once in a while. One person, $697. You can multiply, and even though your kids aren't going to be making that amount of money, your kids are going to be eating just as much as you or more. And if your wife works as well, you're going to lose well over $11,000 a year with a family. Well over. How in the hell? How in the hell does this work? It doesn't. Donald Trump's math doesn't math whatsoever. It is a sleight of hand. Let me give them their taxes back so they feel like they're making money. And I'm going to keep the tariffs up so we get all this money in the government. Donald Trump is treating America like a kingdom. He's acting as if this money that's going to be coming into the government is his personal piggy bank. You know how kings tariffed everybody, You got taxed and all the money went into the kingdom and the king got richer and richer and everybody else got poorer and poorer. That's the way this man sounds. And Democrats, independents, whomever, y'all need to start figuring this stuff out. You can't just sit around and wait for the worst to happen and say, oh, he did go there. No, he's going there. He keeps telling you that. Waiting on it, I don't get. None whatsoever. Yo, I saw a video clip. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I saw a video clip today of Chuck Schumer. Did y'all see that? Chuck Schumer said, and I lie not, this man said, in order to combat this, all this shit that Donald Trump is doing, he said we sent a very strong letter to the president. Would somebody tell Chuck Schumer that fool don't read? I mean, come on. He said, I sent a very strong letter with very strong, like 8 strong questions. The man can't comprehend person, woman, man, car, or camera, TV. That's his comprehension. And you're telling me you sent him a letter with, I think he said, 8 strong questions. Get him out of office. Send that ass home. Just, you got to go, man. You got to go, Chuck. That right there was stupid. I supported you when you talked about, you know, what's going on, and you voted for, like, you didn't want us to have the Holocaust 2.0 in the United States. I understood that. I understood the history of that. You standing in front of a camera talking to somebody on, I don't know what it is, MSNBC, some interview, CNN, I think it was. This fool said, I wrote a very strong letter. What? What century is this dude in? Write a letter. They don't really understand facts. And he's not going to read it if it doesn't start off kissing his ass first. I don't get it, yo. Democrats, what is going on? Especially with the Chuck Schumer thing. I understand you guys are out doing your thing. I see some of you out there doing it. But you know what really kind of bothers me about, I'm a Democrat. What bothers me about my party is it appears they're going 85 different directions. 85 different directions. No unity, no cohesiveness. One dude's writing a letter. Another couple dudes sitting out in front of the Capitol like I'm just a bill. Now I'm only a bill. And they out there sitting on Capitol Hill. I'm like, what the hell? Is that it? Is that it? You guys look like the bills all sad sitting on the steps of Capitol Hill. I'm like, is this how you guys fight? It's insane, y'all. I just don't get it. I really don't. I know that you got to go to courts. I know they're winning cases in the courts. That's their lawyers. But I like AOC and, you know, Senator Bernie Sanders out there speaking to the people. I get it. You have to mobilize. You have to get people excited about certain things, and I understand that. I also get, and I if you can go back and look at video, I said they should be doing this, and they are doing it, that they need to be going out and speaking to these Republicans who are going off on the Republicans. They need to get to them and say, hey, I feel your pain. And lo and behold, many of them are doing it. And I think it's getting somewhere. I understand they're fighting on different, I guess, level playing fields, but it doesn't seem like they're talking to one another. I don't feel a cohesiveness. I feel like there's a bunch of people running for leadership for the Democratic Party. And each one of them is just disbanded and went their own way, and trying to see which one will pick up the slack and say, hey, we like this, we like him, we like her, oh, we're going to go over here. And then once they find one of the things that America starts to move toward, then they'll all gravitate to that individual, that group of people. It's like they're in this testing ground to see who's more popular amongst the people. And you can always say, no matter what, that's going to be Bernie Sanders in this situation, AOC, because they're going to be the ones pulling 30,000. Everybody else pulling a few hundred, 1,000 there, 1,000 here. They all should be joining in that situation and giving people voices in the party that may even be a little different, but still a part of the same plan. This divisiveness, even amongst our own parties, and not finding out. I would personally, I would love for the Democrats, and maybe they're doing it. Y'all need to get into a room and talk to one another. Stop trying to run for office. You already got the place. Go in and talk to one another like, what's the strategy that we all can get behind so that we seem cohesive? Those sycophants are cohesive in this fuckery. I mean, they're talking about, oh yeah, we could send American citizens away too. A child who has cancer, stage 4. She's not going to get the same type of care. And she's an American citizen. Her dad's an American citizen. She's an American citizen. The mom is the one that's an immigrant. And they're like, oh, well, she said that. No, she didn't. And if she said that, tell us where that's at. Because I heard a reporter say that the mother said she was never told that she could keep her child here. They asked her to sign something so that the child goes with her. This baby is stage 4, y'all. She needs whatever medication she's taking to be alive, and these people didn't give a damn about a baby because it was brown. Donald Trump and his family members, they wouldn't be in this country if it wasn't for their parents who came here as illegal immigrants and had children, which made Donald Trump's dad a legal citizen. Wow. The hate is strong in these people. The hate is strong. What did that family do to you? And she was married to a legal citizen, American citizen. So by marriage alone, she becomes a citizen. That's always been the situation. People get married in this country to become citizens all the time. Now, I don't know whether she did it after some law had passed or whatever, but I mean, come on. Go after the people that are criminals, that have done some wrong. That's who they said is going to go after. This country needs immigrants. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm going to tell you again, if you haven't heard it from me saying it before, the jobs in which these immigrants have taken, not all of them, but the ones who are here that are waiting to become citizens, are more than likely jobs that American citizens would never take. They are at a poor status that most, even poor white people, black people, Latin people who have already been here and never were like they're, second, third, fourth generation Latin people that never saw anything about, coming over here. They've always been American pretty much. They would not take these jobs. So they're not stealing shit that you would take. That's a lie. These farms are dying because why? Because they can't get labor. Well, I thought they were taking your jobs. whoever these racist people are, why don't you go? There's some jobs open. Take your ass over there and pick some whatever the hell. Pecans, cotton, do something. I thought you wanted these jobs. Now what's going to happen? American citizens are going to end up having their tax dollars taken and given to farmers so they can survive, giving them subsidies that, I'm sorry, most of them voted for Trump. They don't deserve them. I may sound harsh, but I am tired of these people who vote for the most horrific human beings. Donald Trump put farmers through hell the last time and ended up having to give them billions of dollars to be able to get them back on their feet. We bailed them out like we bailed out the banks. They voted for said idiot. You should reap the spoils of everything you vote for. If your president you voted for can't figure out the math and ends up having you broke, then you shall remain broke. Because everything that's happening to these people, every one of us who said don't vote for him, didn't just say don't vote for him because he's an idiot. We said don't vote for him because the things that are in this Project 2025 will kill your farms. And they voted for white supremacy. They knew he was an idiot. You can't tell me. They knew he was an idiot and didn't care. And now their farms are going through hell. China's not buying from them. Brazil's not buying from them. Australia, they got their own thing, but they're not buying from them. Now what? It's insane, y'all. It really is. Thank you, Five on Fire. He says, trying to get Democrats on the same page is like herding cats. We have no unity. Trump mastered his message to his base in one-liners. Yes, that right there. Politicians have these one-liners, mostly Republicans, but all of them do it. But Republicans fall for them 100%. They think it's patriotic for these one-liners. I mean, one of the most famous ones is drill, baby, drill. At the time that Donald Trump was telling them, I'm a drill, baby, drill, we were the #1 driller in the world. We were literally sending out more oil and producing more oil than any other country at the time. And why was that? It was a strategic move by President Biden to lower gas prices. Because the main thing was at the time that Donald Trump was with us, Donald Trump is the one who messed up everything and had our gas prices go up because he had them hold back. Oh, don't stop making barrels, or just slow down. So then they started using all these different reserves. Next thing you know, the prices start going up. For Biden to have to start back up, it took a while to get there. Therefore, prices skyrocketed. These companies wanted to continue price gouging us, and they did so. So what did Biden do? He said, all right, y'all playing that game. I'll lower prices myself. So he ordered our oil reserves and to actually produce more and more and more. We became the #1 producer, and we put the oil and gas and everything like that on the market for cheaper. So everybody's buying it from us. And therefore, our gas prices started to go down. All Donald Trump had to do was accept this program, keep it moving, and our gas prices would be much lower right now. But no, he came in, implemented his fuckery, and here we are. All these tariffs on everybody, across the board. China is the only one that you really said you had the problem with. But you mess with every country to get to China? It's a pain, y'all. It's a pain when you see stuff like this, because this tells you right now that they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They have their own agenda. But the reality is true that we hold the power. But the majority of us have been so brainwashed we don't realize that we hold the power. We think marching, a lot of us, means nothing. It does. But what makes even more sense is the power of our dollar, what we spend, what we do with our money. Oh yeah, you can go ahead and show your Discord link. Go ahead, Five on Fire. We share that process of saying, you know what, our money, wherever we decide to put it, that's when we start to have power. That's why I said myself, I'm not buying no like name brand anything that doesn't support the people. Just won't be doing it. I'd rather buy it from another country, pay the tariffs, and not owe any of the middle people anything. As much as I can. Now, food is going to be hard, but it's a process. Just like anything else, it's a process. Yeah, Vera. He's always bringing up Biden. Biden's gone, bro. He's gone. Move on. Move on. One of the things that I had a post up on my TikTok that's kind of funny because I found it, this AI video of Vladimir Zelensky and Trump sitting at, I don't know if it was at the Pope's funeral, wherever they were sitting at, on the side, and they were talking, sitting in these two chairs. And this meme that I found was Vladimir Zelensky getting up and slapping the crap out of Trump. And I just busted out laughing when I seen it, so I figured I'd go ahead and post it and let other people laugh about it, stuff like that. And Trump started crying like a baby. I was like, that's hilarious. But I also saw the video of Donald Trump arriving at the funeral of the Pope. And it was crickets, silence. Everybody walked by, nobody talked to him. He ended up going over here. I don't know who he was talking to. I don't know if it was the previous leader of Canada, maybe. No, of France, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. But then they had Vladimir Zelensky walk in. He's walking in to a hail of claps and yay type of shit. All that. I'm sitting there like, is this doctored? I mean, I didn't know for sure if it was or not. It didn't look doctored because I saw people's hands clapping. I saw they died next to the camera doing this. So, but that's my first thought, was it doctored? Because I'm like, that's drastically different. But no, the world can't stand Trump. And because of that, he stands for America. And that is where, like, again, when we had Obama, the world respected us. I saw, I may have reposted a video on TikTok, but there's a young lady, white lady, that she had posted Obama's speech when he talked about he was tired and weary and it had rained all day and a lot of things was going on and he had got finished with, I guess, some speech somewhere, but he had promised this small town that he was going to come to it. And so after that, rain, and he was drenched, got into the car. He asked him, how long is it going to take to get to where we need to go? And he's like, oh, about an hour and a half. And he's like, oh, okay, damn. In his head, he's like, all right, go ahead. We're going to be there. He gets there about an hour and a half later. Just a few people there or so. Walks in. He's tired. He's weary. He's in there, he's going to talk to people and do his thing and, get out of there. And he said in the far back in the recesses of the room, there was an old lady with a big hat. Or he didn't say old lady, I said old, but he said it was an older lady with a big hat. And she said, fire it up. And everybody just was tripping out. And then halfway through this story, I realized it. You know what I'm saying? When she was telling it, or she had posted it, and I had to sit there listening to it. And as I listened to it, you may see that video. The girl in the video just started crying because you can see in her eyes this was the last time she felt like hope, that the world cared about America, that America meant something to people, that energy of caring and love, and that was a moment for her. And she looked like she possibly could have been old enough to vote for him the first time, maybe like 18 when she first voted. I'm not sure, but she looked young. And I could see it took me back to those days where there was hope. It wasn't just him saying it, it's what you felt. There was a brand new day of stuff. Now, I knew that as a human being, he's going to have flaws, he's going to make mistakes. Being a leader of a country, you're going to make mistakes that's going to piss people off. You're going to make decisions that not everybody likes, but you have to be the grown up in the room and make the decisions and take responsibility for those decisions. And that's one thing I admired about Obama. When shit hit the fan, they said something about him, he would take the responsibility for it. That was my decision. Wasn't his or hers, it was mine. You don't get that from Trump. I don't even know that person. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know. He's the one over there doing it. I'm like, you're the leader, though. You're the ones at the top. Everybody here who's had a job before in a management position, you don't have to be like the head manager, but a management position. On your shift, if your employees that you've hired fuck up, it's not only that employee's fault. As a manager, it's your fault. You hired that person, and you were supposed to train that person, and said person did not know what he or she was doing because you failed at training them. In a position where you're working at anything, a grocery store, a hotel, and hospitality, it is your responsibility to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. As the president, if a person you hires fuck up like Pete Hegseth, that's on you, Trump. You can't just say, oh, that's on him and he's got to take care of it. No, that's on you because you hired said idiot. You have to take responsibility for it. Doesn't take it. It's like having a child. You ever see The Toy with Richard Pryor? That bratty ass little kid. They got everything he wanted, and then later he kind of converted. But at the very beginning, he was such an ass. I want him. You mean a human being? Yeah, I want him. We don't did human beings. I want him. That's Trump. That's Trump. I don't know for sure about that. Five Alarm Fire. I don't know about that. Let me look into it. But I would think it'd be okay. Maybe just put like, instead of having a link, put like where it says dot, just write the word dot, D-O-T, instead of that. And at, just put A-T, so that people kind of understand it. I guess. I'm guessing that's gonna work. Even if it is I don't know what kind of link it looks like, but kind of like separate it. Maybe that'll work. Sometimes these comment sections don't allow for certain things. On some, not on this platform, I haven't done it. Well, no, I put my email in here before, but I haven't put a link in here before. But on my TikTok, I can't put links in the comment sections. I don't know why, but it's their program, I guess, because I try it and nobody ever sees it. But yeah, so that's Trump, the brat, 100% brat. He wants it his way. This fool literally, what did he say today? It was this weekend, maybe it was, but I heard it today. He said, I rule this country, I rule the world. Who does this person think he is? Again, he's moved beyond this king thing. Now he feels like he's a god. How do you rule anything? Have you noticed that your approval, people who like you now, or at least approve of you now in these polls, it's 39%. Like I said, I believe Donald Trump's downfall is going to be his own sycophants. Once they're already being hurt. I haven't heard anything from the there was a guy who voted for him that was about to lose his farm. I haven't heard anything else from him. He was on social media for a minute, and then when everybody lit into him saying, "Hey, you made the choice. It's your problem. Solve it." He hasn't been vocal. Haven't seen him. Other people who are Latin that were like for Donald Trump, now they're hella quiet. Specifically one who kept talking about, we don't need black people. We got Venezuelans. And this is before they gathered up a few hundred of them, Venezuelans specifically, and threw them out the country without due process. Now that dude, you don't hear anything about. It's like, y'all need to start figuring out how to work together, because this dude, he thrives off everybody being divided. That's his whole thing. Donald Trump will fail if we find out a way to unite. We're not going to believe in the same things. But here's the thing. When 9/11 happened, we all agreed that we were Americans. And we set aside all the racism and stereotypes and all that shit, and we band together against a common enemy. In this country, racism, these divisive people, they are the enemy in this country. They're the ones that continue to keep this country at odds with one another. American citizens, we have to treat them as they are. They are the enemy within. They are not happy unless we are destroyed in one way or another. Our unity must be divided. We must always be divided in order for them to have power. We take their oxygen out. We starve them by uniting around issues that we all want. We all want to have, jobs that pay a living wage. I don't know about you, but again, I want to go to, if we don't ever go back to anything, I want to go back to a process of where one person can have a job that pays enough for them to have a house, to raise a family, that type of shit. Yes, I want to go there if we want to go anywhere back into the past. Because now you got adults, like parents, barely getting by, and their kids don't even have a chance. They're still living with mom and dad into their 30s. Not because, they're trying to save up money. No, they're trying to get a good enough job that they can be able to live on their own in some of these states. Some of these states like California is more expensive. But even in other states, their industries are gone. So it's got to be tech, or it's got to be gig economy. And these things are good, but not everybody is that. So if anything, the people need to start figuring out in their state, what is the industry that will thrive the most, and start figuring out how a way to bring those industries to that community so that these families can actually start having living wage jobs. The thing I've always said, I used to be in a union, and I don't have anything against unions. I really like them because a lot of stuff we have. But the reality is, if the people rise up, we would never need a union. If the people start doing things for the people, we wouldn't need it. Now, again, a lot of people say, well, that's capitalism. And I understand people have a strong hate for capitalism. I get it. People don't want people to be billionaires. I get it. But it's not about the actual money or the structure so much of capitalism. It's about the character of the people. I truly believe there are people, even in this room, if given $1 billion, would do with it more for people than billionaires do. They're always thinking about a tax write off. People who are people centric, like myself and many of you, if given that type of money, would start creating opportunities for other people. So, therefore, again, you're going to always make money by doing right by people. Always. Because the one thing that gets people always want to come back to you. I'm going to tell you right now, I've only got like maybe one or two people that I've worked for in my lifetime that at any time they call me, I'll be there. In a part-time situation, I'm like, that's a stand-up person, because I know that person's heart, and they're good people. And they'll pay you well for what you do. It ain't a situation of like they're trying to hoard the money. They'll give you a percentage of it. You're almost like a partner to them instead of an employee. There's very few of those in my lifetime. Matter of fact, like I said, two, and I've worked for many of people. But them giving $1 billion, I know the world will be a better place, because they're not worried about money. They're worried about people. It's people over profit. They know that people are the only way that they make profit. If they treat those people right, they keep coming back, their wealth grows. And there's nothing wrong with wealth growing if you're doing good by those you get it from. These other types of rich people and billionaires, all they care about is fucking their way up to the top. And I don't mean sexually, I mean fucking people over to get to the top. Any way, shape, or form. If they can knock you down a few blocks just so that they can climb on top of you, they would. And they'll do it to their own mama. That's the problem. That's why we need people who are focused on like a partner type mentality. And like I said, with my members, I'm going to go into depth about something that I'm working on that's labeled partners. Is because I think that we need to start doing things a little different. Capitalism with good spirits to it. Not, we got to make profit. We got to have supply and demand. That's just how we roll. But we can do it for the people and make profit, not focus on the profit and help some people. It's about helping the most people as possible. And by doing so, you're lifting them. And in that same process, they're lifting you. My thing is always do right by people, and they should do right by you. Not every person has that same spirit. Some of them are going to try and F you over and see if they can get ahead. But if we as a people design something like that, whereas if you step out of the boundaries of helping and disrespecting people and stuff of that nature, and not helping them and ripping them off, we just shut you off. Because again, you have to buy from us. We just stop buying from you. Your business starts to fail. Why? Because you're doing business to harm people and to just make profit. I myself am done with that. I don't mind making profit, but if I ain't helping nobody in the process, it ain't even something I want to be dealing with. So that's something that I'm working on. It's called partners. It appears you need to be a mod to post a link. It's the same with other content creators. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, I'm looking to it. So I'm looking into the idea of when we talk about the things that happen with this country, like I was telling you about earlier with Zelensky and Russia, Ukraine and Russia. One of the things I noticed in the media this past weekend when they were talking about those two a little bit, I guess, after or the Zelensky and Trump meeting is that one of the guys was talking, I think it was on MSNBC, about how Trump was going to be stern with Russia, but he's like he needs to throw tariffs, but sanctions on him and do all these different things to him to be able to stop it. And I'm like, I understand that. And I wanted to, how many people actually knew what sanctions were. The people I spoke to didn't always know what sanctions were. And again, it's all about a financial process of being able to sanction people because, again, the dollar bill is the strength of the finances, the global finances dealing with the dollar bill. So that's the reason why people actually allow us, but we have the control over so much that we throw sanctions on people because we can stop their financial ascent, whatever they're trying to do, put stranglehold on their banking, and then also throw sanctions on other countries that deal with these countries. So those are the things that we do. And this young man was an older man. That's what he was talking about throwing on Russia to get it to capitulate to whatever we wanted. And one of the things that bothered me, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying, how many times have we thrown tariffs, but sanctions on Russia, and nothing's changed? We're still back at the square one with Russia. Sanctions. We've sanctioned the hell out of them, and nothing's changed. So I needed to go back and look into history and see, like, how often have these sanctions really actually worked to the point where it stopped these people from doing what they're doing, right? And so it turns out it hasn't. Every regime that has been sanctioned over the, I don't know how many years, tens of years, decades, they don't change. In fact, they either stay the same or they get worse. And so just telling people to throw sanctions on the people, it's like a deterrent to some degree. But this is why when we was talking about other countries owning our bonds, and by owning our bonds, they can be able to decrease the value of our dollar, even though we're still the main source of a financial connection throughout all these different other countries. But not only is there a BRICS system, there's like 2 or 3 other systems of countries coming together trying to take over the dollar, because the dollar being strong is what allows us to do the things we do. We are mostly, people think a lot, when sanctions came out like a little bit after World War II. And that's because they didn't want to keep sending their children out to war and die via that type of war. So we have a war with these sanctions by putting a stranglehold on other people and saying, oh, we're going to freeze your money up. We're going to do this, that, and the third. There have been people who have been sanctioned to the point where their citizens were dying. They still remained the same. Did not change. So what's going to change now? What's going to change now? Everybody, it's crazy how we start to make everybody into an enemy, right? And I'm saying Russia is our enemy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying is that even if Russia turned around and started doing right, they would still be our enemy. And the reason why is because every country needs an enemy. I had to do research on this and find out what exactly were they talking about. But every country needs an enemy. And America chose Russia. After World War II, Russia came out as well as a superpower. And right then and there, America knew that they were going to have to be enemies with them. And so they started creating tariffs so that they can put like their boot on Russia so that they could subdue them, and therefore we can be in power. That our superpower would be stronger than theirs. Because after that war, we became a superpower and they started using our dollar as the main currency. That's how we came out on top. That's how we're like more powerful than other countries, because they use our dollar. And that's why these other countries are trying their damnedest to create another thing to trade in currency other than the dollar bill. And if they ever succeed in that, our empire tumbles. Because again, the thing that keeps us strong is our dollar, not necessarily our military. I know we always talk about how strong our military is, but it's our dollar that keeps these people at bay, because they're heavily invested in it. And their lives crash if our dollar crashes, in a sense, right? So to wean themselves off is the reason why they're creating these other systems, so that they can deal and trade. Most every country will deal and trade with the dollar bill, nothing else, or rarely anything else. Their own dollars are not the main trade in their countries. I didn't know this. I started doing research on this, and I was like, that's why when people start throwing sanctions around, they think everybody's going to jump. But I think over these years, they've studied it. It's really been, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it's like, wait a minute. All these other countries still are surviving. Why are we worried about them? Why are we worried about this country? And that's the part that Trump is forcing them to see, because of these tariffs and them having to work with one another. You see, China, and we've talked about this, China, North Korea, and Japan didn't get along. Now they got a treaty. Here's the thing that's tripping me out is that Donald Trump has drove countries that can't stand each other into a room to make deals with one another and have a treaty in like the shortest amount of freaking time. You know how long it usually takes to get some kind of deal? About 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. These fools did this shit in like weeks, 100 days or less. They already had the treaty, the deal already written out. They went into a room, talked, chatted, boom, came out. He's isolating us from countries that are our allies, and they're running to each other to say, give America the fingers. Like, yo, look, they tripping. We got to figure something out. We ain't gonna let our people die just because these fools are tripping. And they working with each other. Like I said, Brazil, Australia, China, Japan, all these different countries are figuring it out. And Donald Trump and his minions think that we just are indispensable. Well, with the dollar, yeah. But if they figure that out, it's a wrap. And they've been working on it. And they've been dealing with it for years now. It's just a matter of time for America to slip up, for them to slide right on in. And you know what the slip up is? Donald Trump pissing off every country. And individually, some of them, I'm pretty sure, are afraid. But many of them are running to China because it's a superpower too. China and Japan could crash our markets tomorrow. They own the majority of our debt. They could sell that shit off and boom, it's a wrap. Don't think they don't have a plan to strategically replace us. They do. They just haven't had a chance to be able to implement it. And on top of that, it's considered a betrayal of all the other countries that within the alliances that they have to do that. So without those alliances, which Donald Trump is breaking up, these people will be like, hey, okay, America's tripping, so might as well. Not saying this will happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So I don't understand when we taken off the gold standard, U.S. dollar was taken as the standard, and now BRICS with trading in their own currency, it changes everything, right? Earthkeeper, that's 100% right. Earthkeeper, no facts right there, 100% facts. We were on that gold standard, then the dollar was replaced with it, and that was, again, the Middle East basically replacing us with the gold, but it's sad. I don't necessarily understand what this man's goal is other than to become Hitler Jr. or, take it even further back to King somebody. But what I'm really kind of like learning from America is how much fear controls us. How much these Democrats, independents, and Republicans who literally know what's right for this country keep their mouths closed because they're afraid of some dude that craps himself. Literally walks around in a diaper they're afraid of. This man couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, and they're afraid of somebody they given the power to because they won't get voted on without him. And then you got the other ones, the white supremacists who love him to death because he's bringing white back. It's like he's bringing that white supremacy back. They love that. They went from the most dangerous group of people in this country that America should worry about via the FBI to having one of them become the president of the United States. Not once, but twice. What is this country about, y'all? Five on the Far said Euro will be the world currency. And your guess? I would not doubt it. I just know that America's sleeping right now. And because Trump has given them all these slogans and crap, they're afraid to be awake or woke. In order to be woke, they'd have to get out of this slumber and see Donald Trump for who he is and understand he's not trying to protect any of them. He's using their fight, their hatred, to push himself. That's it. Donald Trump will say or do anything to get where he needs to be. This man was a Democrat his whole entire life and then became a Republican because he felt like I can control them. And honestly, he was right. %100 right. So the only way I've seen in research or anything like that to defeat anything like this is for the power of the people to take over. And the people have to figure out a way to stop. One, what Donald Trump did was assemble the billionaires, and they sat behind him during the inauguration like they were God's gifts. And the American people have got to take that gift out of their pockets. And what I mean by that, all those billionaires that stood behind them, the American people have to let them know, you may be rich, but we're in control. We have to buy your products for you to stay where you are. We can buy from somebody else. We can buy from overseas if we have to and skip you altogether. Because after all, You guys don't make anything. You get it from overseas at a cheap rate, which means we can get it too. And if we have to buy a knockoff brand of your sweet product and get it for cheaper without the label on it, but it still accomplishes the same thing, we need to have a revolt from these brands and tell them, you know who's in control? We are. If you don't have our money, you don't have your billions. You can't sustain your businesses. And you go broke. You need us buying your stuff. You need us believing in your product in order for you to maintain the wealth you have. That's why you'll never see me buy a Tesla. You'll never see me do any of the things that these people, I don't even go on my Facebook. I think I posted something today, and I ain't posted nothing like forever, just to post about, to warn people about these tariffs, because on that app is a lot of Republicans that follow me, but I never really go on it. I wanted them to see it. But other than that, Twitter, X gone. Because I know you can't reach these people. You just can't. It's hard. I'm pretty sure it's got to be that you know them personally, they're a friend of yours, and maybe you can reach them. But other than that, you can't reach them. And I saw a live on, I think it was on TikTok, I think it was last night, I believe, or it was last night, and late night, and there was a guy on there. You couldn't see his face. He was just talking. It was this young black girl who, it was her live, and it was a white guy in the box. You can tell because of what he was saying, and then later he said it. But what I appreciated what he said was he was honest about his hatred for black people and people of color. He literally was saying, make no mistake about it. This is his words, not mine. What Donald Trump is doing is all about like white supremacy. He said, I'm 100% behind him. He's getting these black and brown people out of the country, and he's all for it. And he said, basically he said he's a proud like racist, and he wanted his people to survive. And I don't know why you guys are mad just because you lost type of thing, and you would do the same thing to us and all this. It was just on and on and on. But the young lady asked him, she said, you think most white people believe what you're believing about Donald Trump? He's like, yeah, I think all of us believe that. We understand that he is like a racist, and he believes in the purity of our race, and I'm behind him. And the lady was saying, like, well, if you don't like America and you want to be around just white people, why don't you just like go to Europe or something like that? And he said, I am in Europe. And I'm like, well, I thought you was arguing American stuff. So you saw his video pop up, and he was showing outside of his house. You saw, Europe or wherever he was at, and he just kept going on and on, spewing hatred. And I was just sitting there just listening. I was like, the one thing about it, he won't show his face, but the one thing about him, he's telling the truth. We all know Donald Trump supports the racist, the xenophobic people, because he's one of them. This man said during 9/11, he saw Muslim people across from his place on top of a roof, jumping up and down, excited about the plane going into the building. This shit never happened. It never happened. This is the same man that made up another person, John Barron or something like that, whoever the hell it was. Last name was Barron, which he named his son Barron. The fake guy he made up to call into the media and say, yes, Donald Trump's a billionaire. Put him in the Forbes, put him in the Times magazine. Till he got caught. Who does this shit? I don't know anybody who get on the phone and fake like there's somebody else so they can give themselves credit for some shit that they don't deserve. Nobody would have gave Donald Trump that credit. So he said, nobody likes me and nobody wants, so I'm going to make up a person. You have to make up somebody to tell another person that you're good. That's some batshit crazy stuff, y'all. Making up people to make yourself look better than you actually are. Ghostwriter for his book, Anthony something or Tony something. The Art of the Deal wasn't even his. Written by somebody else, and he studied Donald Trump and embellished a lot of it and sold a book and made money off of it. Donald Trump used it to rise and get a TV show and became president. This country's pretty weird. That we will elect somebody based off of a reality show. That's a complete freaking failure. The only success this man has had in his life was that reality show. All of his businesses, trash. His presidency the first time, trash. The second one, he's 100 days almost 100 days into it, has destroyed everything just like he did his freaking casino. Took something that was thriving and started killing it. And now Donald Trump is killing America. Doing his damnedest to kill everything this country's built. I don't know. I'm done with you can only talk about that dude so much a day. I'm done with it. I'm done with all this nonsense. Again, like I said, we got to figure out a way to make things work for us as a people. What we believe in, what we don't believe in, and decide from there. Because if we don't, we're just going to have to succumb to what they're talking about. I'm not succumbing. Never. I'm not going back to that crap that they're talking about. My ancestors died for me to have what we have. And I'd be damned if I want to go back because some inferior white dude wants to, or even some white people, these racist white people, want to take it back to a place where they felt more important. Like I said before, if you don't feel important around your family and friends and loved ones, then that's a you problem. Maybe it's you and not your family. If you feel like that you need to be called superior so that you can feel like you mean something to the world, how about you get out there and do something so that somebody else can say you're superior at it, that you don't have to put that label on yourself so you can be more important than you actually are. When we look at Michael Jordan, we see supreme being basketball player. Has flaws in other aspects of his life, but a basketball player is not one of them. Those are the things that you guys should be looking at in yourselves and saying, oh, I'm supreme at that. But as a being, remedial is the word that comes to mind. Slow, short bus. That comes to mind when I hear stuff like that. Coming out of somebody who thinks they're smart and gets his smartness from the genes of his uncle, who I guarantee you could not stand his ass because nobody in the family did. His own dad, Trump's dad, didn't like him. He wasn't the first choice. Fred Jr. was. Donald Trump was the last choice even to his dad. And this country wants to pick him. It is what it is. Like I said, I will. I'm still working on trying to get the meeting for the members to set that up. It should be coming in the next week or two, and we'll talk more about what I got in line for us um, to start working toward that goal of saying, "Hey, we can do this without needing the billionaires," and again, just like with anything else. Um, they've built fear in American citizens to believe that we can't do it without them, even politicians and things of that nature. We need to take the power back, and that's starving the rich people of their wealth and their power. In order to do that, you must stop spending money with them as much as possible and start building that money, that process within your own core groups of people. A person who makes this or does that or designs this and makes logos or whatever. You start going to these people and stop trying to do it through billionaire companies and things of that nature, and you'll start growing your community a lot faster, right? And with people who give a damn about people, because obviously they don't. There are so many millionaires and billionaires out there that could be doing right by people and getting paid even more money than they're getting paid now by doing wrong by people. The strategy I talk about is literally the more people you help is the wealthier you should become. Not that you should never be wealthy. I have no problem with wealth. I have a problem with greed. And greed to me is when you're doing something to harm others or whatever it may be to make money. Money is your sole goal. If doing right by people is your sole goal, the money will come. The money should be to me, the money should be a reward for doing good, not for effing people over. And we've gotten to a society where a person can make a crap ton of money after robbing somebody or taking their stock or whatever, and they're celebrating, partying, drinking, having a good time off of your hard-earned money that they just stole. The Bernie Madoffs and all these other people. I can't remember the other guy's name who jacked up the prices of like drugs for people that needed to live off of. He jacked them up to like $800 a pill or some shit. These people, they need to go. And the way they go is we need to start figuring out a way. If, like for even medication for our people, if Mark Cuban can figure out a way to get products into this country and sell drugs cheaper, so can you and I. It's not a wizardry game. It's just a matter of strategy and getting people behind it. Point blank, period. That's it. You don't have to be no genius. You just have to be somebody who's willing to put their heart and mind behind it and have people who want to get behind it, and things can change. And it's not a point of, in my process, everybody through every process, has a way of making a better life for themselves. Not just, oh, I get and you get nothing, right? So I'll get into details of it with Martin Shkreli. There you go, Tony Scott. Thank you. You got that quick. Selling drugs. That stuff needs to stop. That stuff needs to stop. So yeah, we're going to talk about that coming up soon. I'm gonna try and get that meeting set up for members. Oh, and Five Alarm Fire. I sent you the email. I don't know if you got it or not. I wanted to learn more about what you was talking about. Let me know what you was talking about in the email so we can discuss what you were saying so I can better understand it. I just looked up myself just a little bit, but I sent an email and I didn't see a response. Unless you have responded, I just haven't seen it. All right. Look forward to seeing that, and maybe we can hit up with a Zoom or something and talk even more in depth about what's going on. But I need to learn more. All right. So checking right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I sent the email from the one. It says AE AEGIS or something like that. I responded to it. All right. So I look forward to you guys every week, every day actually when I come on to learn more and to share more. Um, a lot of what I'm doing, you know, I see a lot of my content creators, mutuals, and their strategies and things that they do, just giving you the news and things of that nature. And one of the things I learned through this process is like one of my gifts, so to speak, is to educate on certain things. Oftentimes I hear, and I love my mutuals, but I hear them say something and I'll have to go look up like what they said and understand sometimes a little bit more in depth about what they're talking about. So what I'm trying to do in many cases is break down some of these terms. And you'll see like today when I'm talking about sanctions, what the in-depth aspect of what a sanction is and you know, how it became a thing and how it has not affected people the way they thought. It did harm them, but they still survived and kept it moving. So there has to be a better way. And like again, I want everybody to take a chance on finding out like what is it better yet, what is it that you are afraid of? I know many people say I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm like, this world has us afraid of things like Russia that our country's afraid of. We talk about nukes and things of that nature. If we got into a nuke war with Russia, Russia would die too. I don't think they want to die. So I think the idea, because again, we have just as much, if not way more, I think more than them, but still, they can cause a lot of damage, but everything will be gone. They want to survive. Point blank, period. So that's really not the fear. The fear is what they build in all of their citizens. The fear is not for Russia from us. The fear is for us, from our leaders. They're telling us who to be afraid of. And Russia's not a good, country, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure we have more of a threat as well in Russia as we have other countries too that don't like us. I get it. North Korea, threat. But those threats is what our country uses to keep us in check, to keep us doing what we do and relying on them 100%. And we have to get into the system and learn way more about it than just let them take control of it and do what they do. If Trump has taught us anything, is that if we allow our leaders to go willy-nilly, they can fuck our lives up completely whenever they feel like it. Now, just envision what I'm saying, where let's say I'm buying from Earthkeeper or Mark D or Five Alarm Fire products and services, or I'm buying it from another country that's cheaper, let's say Mexico instead of China, because China's got 145% tariffs. I'm buying it from Mexico. There's no middleman. I can buy it and I can sell it to any one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? With a small markup. Not what these companies are charging. Ridiculous markup. Buying it for $10 and selling it for $150. I buy it for $10 and sell it to you for $35. Everybody makes a profit. And then there's other processes that I believe should be incorporated that allows us all to keep trading with each other and not needing the government to make deals for us and things of that nature. We have to, or the billionaires even for that matter, we have to start taking the power out of their hands. If not, we might as well just succumb to them. So I'll get into detail. No landlines. I don't know Morse code. That's okay. All right. Thanks, Five on Fire. I got something right after this, but I'll get to you. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate you too. We're looking into doing some things, and trust me, I'll let you know. I'll tell you probably either tomorrow or Wednesday if I can get this software set up. It's kind of hard for me for us to be able to continue, discussing things as members, and going into depth. All right, because that particular thing that I'm developing for us is being able to take over the game, so to speak. I'm always a person who thinks about building something that benefits all people in it. The person who buys it, the person who sells it, and the people who we originally buy it from. So everybody benefits. So, and therefore creating a new type of wealth. It's it's something new, and I would put it this way: billionaires and people like Trump are going to hate it with a passion because it leaves them out of the process. They're the middlemen and women that have all these brands and products and things, and we don't need them. If it means that you have to allow yourself to be sold a bill of goods, to have them go in and fire many people in the government because they want more money back because of their greed, not realizing that there are families that they're destroying when they could be doing this the right way and getting rid of, things that are being spent, like buying a $5,000 pencil or some shit. Instead, you going and firing people who have a service. They actually do provide a service to the country. Yeah, it's about time for them to know the wrath of we the people and not we the rich people. If they feel like they can fuck with our lives whenever they feel like it, then watch out when we get organized and say, you know what, take your ass somewhere else. Go back to South Africa, Elon. If that's what you want to do, go back there and do that to them. But we ain't going to take it no more. None whatsoever. I don't care how much money you got. We don't have to buy from you. Not your cars, not our taxes going toward your spaceship stuff. We can lobby against that as a people. We don't want our money ever going that direction. We can lobby it somewhere else. The people are more powerful than you think. It takes us to change it. And that's what I'm trying to do. All right. We need our own electricity company, Cass says. Like I said, in these meetings, we'll talk and discuss all about this. Because again, it's a seed that I'm talking about planting that will grow. It's not going to grow overnight. It can grow fast, but it's not going to grow overnight. But it needs people who are motivated for change. People who are motivated to do good by others and motivated by people and not profit. We understand that profit needs to be made so that we can take care of our families, and that will happen in the process. It's just, again, building this network takes time. For us to find, a place like Brazil that can sell us something, or us to go to a small farm and say, hey, we don't want to buy it from Ralph's or Kroger's anymore. We want to buy it from you, straight from the farmer, and fuck all these other people, these billionaires messing things up. We want to buy straight from you, and from you, and from you, and go directly to each other. There's so many things that we could do to uproot the system as it is, but keep capitalism, but capitalism for the people, people-centric capitalism. We have to make money, supply and demand, but we don't have to fuck over our brothers and sisters to do so. And it doesn't mean we will be in poverty. It doesn't mean that we're in socialism. It's capitalism, but capitalism with a heart, not with greed. Simple as that. Exactly. Earth keepers understanding something, but again, we have to figure those things out. Unless you already got it figured out, we can all talk about it. South Africa, take Troy Scott with you. You tripping. What did Troy Scott say? Yeah, having a fun time. All right. I want to thank you guys for being here as always. You know how to support me. I always put it up late. But if you want to, that's one way. You can also become a member, and I want to thank everybody who's donated actually to the whole process. I think it was Five Alarm Fire with the memberships and the donations of the funding. I appreciate it in the chat always, and I look forward to everybody coming back tomorrow, and we'll discuss some things. Hopefully, we have some good news. I promise you, I'm a positive dude. I love being positive. I just can't stand being lied to. So you see me coming on here pissed off about being lied to. But other than that, I enjoy life and have a good time. So I want to say to you guys, have a good evening. Be safe. As always, you know how it is. Let me go ahead and break this down. I see you when I see you.